Hello, we're here. Mora's,
Hello.
as is often the
hello.
case, not on the screen yet. Hold on. I think now you're on a screen. No, it's funny. It's funny. Well, I'm going to fix that. I'm going to fix that.
Need me to vamp?
Yeah, sure.
All right. What's the deal with this tea? No, I'm now just doing a dumb bit. So I'm gonna keep looking over this way. That was terrible by me. I'm gonna keep looking over this way a couple times because in the corner of the room is my sleeping 5-year-old. So if at some point a disheveled, confused, or upset little head pokes up behind me, that's why.
No, yeah. All right, nobody's going to be able to hear you for a second. I got to check something. There we go. Now we can see you.
Hello.
We can see and hear you. And there's Mora. This is me, Bobby. And we're going. We
and a
have
couple of pencils, Bobby, and a couple of pencils.
Oh yeah. So I came. I've been I've been complaining about my long hair recently and saying that I might do something. I might cut it off after. I don't know if I'll make it this into the end of the summer. You know, I've been. I think Mora knows I say this every summer though. Anyway, one amazing thing about having long hair is that you can put pencils in there, and that is awesome. Because I've been building a deck, as Mora, you know, all week. This is day 6 of our deck building project. I have just come from it, literally. You can see my shiny sweat and.
Are you on a deck building break right now?
Yeah, this is my break time.
Oh, welcome.
And yeah, you know, you're measuring and marking stuff and cutting things, and so I'm able to just stick it in there. So that's pretty good.
That is convenient.
But we have family in town too. In
twist
fact,
mine into
and use
anyway,
it to hold
family
your
in town.
I'm not good enough with hair to use a pencil to hold it up. I've never tried though, so maybe it's really easy. Maybe it's really easy.
But yeah, you got family in town helping out.
Yeah. My in-laws are both here. My father-in-law's outside finishing up stuff right now. Hopefully, we won't hear too many hammer noises because he's kind of right outside that window. But also, my mother-in-law and my younger daughter Kaylee, they're watching right now in the living room because Kaylee knew that we were going to be talking about Artemis, and she's been really, really excited about that. So
amazing.
We have a live chat. Oh Barry's here.
Hi, Barry.
We got Chuck. Yeah, Chuck. And we'll have more people straggling in. How have you been, Mora? I'm sort of like catching my breath, you know.
Yeah. Take a breath. Allow the sawdust and sweat to, dry into a thin film there. I've been good. I have been actively engaging with the concept of moonjoy all week.
Moonjoy. Oh, the joy of this whole moon mission, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just really something. Like, what an amazing feat of human spirit and engineering, and I am just so excited that I get to see it.
Like, yeah, we've had a lot of people really excited on our Discord talking about it too, following it and keeping up with it. That's been really cool.
Yeah, that's been on my mind all week, and there's been a turn in the spring weather, sunlight, no more gray skies, and warm sunshine, and it's been nice. So, I've had a great week actually. Overall, there's been some ups and downs, but overall, the good is coming out ahead. How about you?
I've had a week that has felt like one really long day.
Building a deck is hard.
Yeah, it really is hard. And I think I knew that it was hard, but I didn't realize how hard it was. We get up at like 7 a.m. every morning, and we work on it until 7 at night. We have like a 30-minute lunch break in there somewhere.
Ooh, that's a lot.
And it's a lot of work for two people, and two, and we're not experts, so there's been a lot of problems to solve and lots of joist tape to lay down. Kaylee, speaking of, who's watching right now, I told you, she has laid out all of our joist tape. It's been so helpful because it's such a tedious job. You know what joist? I didn't know this existed. Do you know what joist tape is?
I have no idea what joist tape is.
So, joists are just the pieces of wood that like you've got your frame structure that the deck is going to sit on top, and the joists are just the beams that go across, right?
Okay.
The wooden beams. And so you're going to drill screws or you're going to hammer nails. You're going to put something into those beams to hold the deck boards on, right? That's how you build a deck.
Yeah.
But that's a point for a place for water and rain and to seep through, and that's where a lot of your rotting of the wood underneath happens. Is it seeps in through those holes down into the wood, through the screw holes or through the nail holes, and just like over time seeps into there. And so every one of those nails or screws is a weak point over time. And so joist tape is just this like really sticky, but like heavy duty tape with like it's got the tape. It's almost like, do you know what gaffer's tape is?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to think about that for a while.
Yeah, it's sort of like
they always have a different name, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's sort of like a fabric tape. And,
hockey tape.
There you go, hockey tape. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, you wrap it around your hockey stick, and so it's like the same kind of material on top, but the adhesive is really thick and it's gooey. And so there's like a little thin layer of that goo, and so you put it down on top of the beams, and then you drive your nails or your screws through it, and it's supposed to seal around those things and helps protect it.
Yeah, okay.
But you have to put it on top of everything that is on the
that's gonna get
facing up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so it's very tedious, and Kaylee did that all, and both the kids helped demolish the old deck. They loved it. Zoe especially loved doing that with big sledgehammers smashing the deck to pieces.
Oh man, what a good feeling! What a good feeling.
We've had fun doing it, but I make it sound like it's been miserable. It really has been enjoyable. It's just been exhausting. I get done.
Yeah, that's a long day.
I get done at 7 o'clock. We have dinner, and then I sit on the couch and I basically just go unconscious.
Yeah, like what else could you do?
Yeah, and then I wake up the next day and we start again. So that's what I mean. It feels like one whole 6-day long day, because there's been almost nothing to differentiate the days,
Yeah. So, yeah. It's like sort of like COVID, just the same thing every day.
Yeah. But,
at the end you'll have a great deck. How many more days of deck building?
Today's the last day. The in-laws are going to be here helping, which is fine because the stuff that's left is basically just laying deck boards on top of the deck, and then I've got these kits to make the rails, like vinyl composite rails, so that they'll last in the weather too, and that's easy. Those are all kind of one-person jobs anyway. So I think I should be done by Monday evening. And
nice. Nice. Okay, so that's not bad. It's Saturday morning.
As we're recording the show, it's Saturday middle of the afternoon, just started. So when I get done with the show, I'm going to get right back to it, be laying down boards, and I think I ought to be able to be done by Monday afternoon, definitely by Monday evening, definitely by Tuesday, no later than Tuesday. And if I have to, I already had to cancel my Monday flying lesson, so hopefully I won't have to cancel my Tuesday flying lesson.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, but any major? You already told me your week has been good, so. That's the other thing. You couldn't have asked for better weather this week. For us too. It's been like in this low 70s, mid to low 70s all week.
Oh, that's perfect.
And no rain at all.
Incredible.
So perfect deck building weather is.
Have you do like the concrete, dig in and put concrete to hold it up?
We've been doing concrete footers for all the posts, and digging holes is it wears you out. So.
Yeah. Good for you. Mm-hmm. That is such a big job.
It's fulfilling work, and I feel like I'm exhausted, but like I feel like it's fulfilling exhaustion, you know.
Right? You've accomplished a thing and have something at the end of it. Yeah. The trouble always comes with those things when you're like, don't leave enough time for yourself, or you are feeling.
And we kind of thought we'd be a lot further along by now, but there's always problems you encounter, and you have to troubleshoot, and it sends you on like a 2.5-hour diversion. And
this may not be the case with the deck, but whenever I do any kind of home repair or improvements, I take whatever it says on Google, how long it says, and I quadruple it. It's 4 times as long. If this is a 2-hour job, I'm going to be doing it all day long, because I'm just an experienced somebody who knows what they're doing and has all their tools perfectly laid out and does not have to pause and reread and like swear at the hammer. Those people maybe could do it in 2 hours, but I gotta multiply it by 4. So that's my rule of thumb.
Yeah, let's see. What does Google say? How long does it take to build a roughly 450 square foot deck, which is very big, but it wraps around the house? It might be more like 400, but it doesn't matter. It says typically takes professionals 2 to 4 weeks. Well, we're doing awesome.
Yeah, you're doing great. Holy moly.
Oh, actual on-site consecutive construction. Oh, that's what we're talking about. 2 to 4 weeks from start to finish, including planning, permitting, and construction. We did not permit anything.
Well, you already had a deck, so.
Yeah, we already had one. That's why we're worried about it. And so actual on-site consecutive construction usually takes 3 to 7 days. So yeah, we're adding on at least one more day than that. So.
And most of the time, those estimates are going to be low. Because it's like, you can build your deck in 3 short days.
If you don't sleep.
Yeah, because then, too, like, what is a day? Is it 8 hours or 12? So, yeah, that's, it's a tough one.
Yeah.
Good for you, Bobby. Well, put up some pictures. How are the cats taking the change?
Oh, it's been fun for them in the sense that it's been very stressful for the mama cat.
Yeah, I can imagine. She's like, excuse me.
She had already kind of started moving the cats before we started it, because they're getting more active. Like they weren't on our deck anymore. We found them underneath the deck. And so so she was already in a mode of like them moving around. But then we started the project and they were nowhere to be found, and we were like, well, I guess we're done with the cats. They just decided to abandon us. But we did, I think, on the second day of construction, found them. She just moved them off to the side of the house behind some bushes and tucked between like some lattice fence and our air conditioning unit that surrounds the air conditioning unit. So she tucked them back into there to where they're very, very hidden. I mean, obviously it took us like a day and a half to find them. So, but they've been staying there the whole time. So the kids will go out and go and hang out with them for 20 minutes at a time, a couple times a day while we're working on the deck and stuff. And so that seems like that's their new home.
Okay, well, good thing that they relocated. I was concerned about the kittens.
Yeah, they are very active now too, jumping around in the leaves and pouncing. And it's very, very cute.
That must be adorable. How many were there? 4?
There's 3 kittens. Yeah. Are we gonna TNR the kittens? What's TNR? Something neuter. What?
I have no idea what TNR is.
TNR the kittens. Barry's asking. Barry, tell me what TNR means. It sounds too close to DNR.
I know that. I was like, that's a little.
Are we gonna give the kittens a DNR so that?
I'm supposed to take the kittens. Hi, Amy.
Yeah. Hey, Amy.
Trap, neuter, release.
We have intentions of getting them neutered, yeah, and spayed and neutered. Like, yeah. We yes. The short answer is yes. We have intentions of doing all that. We're waiting for. They're right about that age, so Stephanie's been coordinating all that and calling our vet and stuff like that and figuring out what we need to do, get them their vaccines and all the things. And the reason I'm kind of like wishy-washy about my answer is because there's an active debate going on in our household. On the one side is Stephanie, my wife, and on the other side is the children. And the debate is, are we going to get these kittens adopted or are we keeping them? And I'll let you guess which side who takes which side.
Is there a happy between, like, middle? Is there a single kitten you would consider?
Yeah, there is a favorite. It's one of the calico ones. It's the only one that's been named so far, which mistake number one. But it's her name's Dora because she was the one who was most active at first, and Kaylee named her Dora, like Dora the Explorer.
I love that. I love that.
But anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh, we can't keep them in the house anyway. So whatever we do, there's always going to be the question mark. Are they gonna stick around anyway? So I don't know. I kind of lean towards if somebody wants one of the kittens, let's give them to them and let them have a nice home rather than continuously roll the dice on whether they survive. You know?
Yeah, they're gonna be safer in a house for sure. Well,
yeah.
I hope that that debate comes to a satisfactory resolution for all involved.
I agree.
Cats included.
I'm continuing to vamp about the deck and the cats and everything going into my house because all I want to talk about is Artemis, but I'm trying to save it all.
I know. I'm kind of I have something for the top of the show to tell you about.
Do you want to get started?
Exciting as well, but yeah, let's get into it. Let's do it. Yeah, and then I just want to. Oh, it's been such a week. Okay.
Yeah.
What day is this coming out? April 13th.
The behind the scenes look on this, everybody. I'm not gonna bore the main show with this, but
we'll bore you.
Yeah, we'll bore you. Yeah, you're patrons. You're not patrons necessarily. I forgot. You're live listeners. You've made the effort to come and be bored by us live.
We love you.
But that's Mora, I have to publicly thank, has taken the lead on this because I've been deck building all week. I have had 45 minutes of time to put together whatever I could, and so
it's all good
for a week. Yeah. It's going to be the Mora show is basically what I'm saying. So no pressure, Mora.
Well, I mentioned to you that I was already kind of hyperfixating on this anyway, so.
Yeah, you said this in our chat between you and me, and you're right that it's kind of like perfect that that Artemis happened this week when I have had zero time to do anything. So it gives us lots to talk about.
It does. It all worked out.
All right, you ready?
Just need a sip of water, and then yes, I am. Okie dokie. Hey everyone, it's April 13th, 2026, and you're listening to All Around Science. My name's Maura Armstrong.
And I'm Bobby Frankenberger, and we are two huge fans of science here to get you caught up on what's going on in the world of science and just generally geek out about science stuff. And boy, is there stuff to geek out about right now. There's only one story in science right now, and I think that's like we're basically going to be talking about that the entire episode and next week's episode, and that is what, Maura?
The Artemis 2 mission.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, this is the news story and the feature because it's the news and it needs to be a feature. So yes, it is so exciting. Successful splashdown. We're gonna get into it. But there is another journey of exploration that has started in the Armstrong house today, and you're going to be really excited about it, Bobby.
Oh,
Our 3D printer has arrived.
that's right. We talked about it last week. You guys are getting a 3D printer. When did it? Give me the details. When did it arrive?
Like an hour ago.
Did you? So
They're
you
setting it up upstairs.
Oh, it'll be set up before you're done with this because it's so easy to set up. I've told the story about how we got it, and I was like, I'm just gonna poke around with it right before dinner, and I'd already finished a 3D print before dinner was done.
Amazing. Yeah, there was an Allen key and a bunch of packaging all over, and yeah. So it is very exciting. My son is just beside himself. He's
oh my god.
He's all of Twitter.
What do you think his first 3D print is going to be? He
has a plan. There's a bunch of fidgets that he really wants to print, and then there's this it's like a knife that has like a handle, like kind of a circular opening handle that you like can twirl it around.
Yeah, those are the two perfect things to 3D print. Fidgets. Kaylee loves to do fidgets, and weapons.
Okay, so I told him, yes, you can do this thing because he wants to like do tricks with it or whatever. I was like, but we need to make sure it is a safe thing.
Right.
3D printers can get very sharp. So if we can find something with blunted edges or like a rounded thing.
Stephanie 3D prints. She's got this file like on standby. She 3D prints a little blade that she uses to open packages, and it gets dull quickly because it's plastic. But it takes like 15 minutes to print one, and so she'll just print out another one. But when it's freshly printed, it's pretty sharp.
Yeah.
She's just like
They're you can get a fine tip and a fine edge, and that is not safe. He wanted to print one for a friend too, and I was like, no, you can't do that. You're not gonna like give your friends knives. That's not cool.
No, you'll be getting.
I don't know their deal.
Like some phone calls from parents. Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Your child has given my son a knife set.
Get a call from the school. It just isn't something I wanna do. But he's not planning to shiv anyone. He just wants to spin it around. And do cool tricks with it. So
yeah, that's what you do when you're a kid. You get something dangerous and learn to do cool tricks with it.
Exactly. It'll be and my job as the mom is to make it minimally dangerous.
Yeah.
But honestly, my biggest plans, board game inserts.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that. That's a great thing for 3D printing as well.
So many inserts.
And then I told you you'll eventually find you'll start to look at your house with like a new filter over your vision. You're gonna be like, oh, that's a problem that I could solve with 3D printing. Oh, that's something that I could enhance or improve with the 3D print. All sorts of things.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. It's gonna be a new era in the Armstrong house, as well as for the world, having now gone to the moon and back for the first time in 53 odd years. So I don't want to wait anymore. Let's just do it.
Let's get right to it. Beep bop boop beep. That's the fake sound of us transitioning to the next thing.
So my kiddo's still sleeping here. I think we got another half hour or so there may be a bit of an interruption.
If we have to have a break, that's fine.
Yeah. I'm just gonna check communications.
Check comms.
Family. Check comms. Oh, did I even forget my phone?
Oh,
I didn't.
Comms failure.
Comms failure. Planned blackout period.
I was just about to say that. This is the planned blackout period.
We're so funny.
We're so dorky.
We're the best. Okay, I think we're good.
All right. Check in with the chat real fast. Hey, everybody's here and having a good time.
Yeah.
All right. Chat.
Feel free to drop in any of your Artemis experiences as we talk, because I'd love to put them
Yeah.
talk through them and
Yeah, the original
yeah.
plan was for us this to be sort of a more like community, like sharing your. So if you do have things, don't think you're interrupting. Not that that's ever stopped the chat room in the past. You guys always
You guys have thoughts?
have thoughts.
But yeah, jump in if you have something you want. I know Barry, you dropped something, and I'll get to that later. But yeah, I wanna yeah, I wanna focus on the experience. So
All right, well here we go. Let's get to it. I'm gonna mark the audio, and you can start whenever.
all right. So it was Friday, April 10th, 2026, 6:07 p.m. Mountain Time.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting in a board game cafe with some coworkers. We'd brought we had planned this event like weeks ago. You know, and so we didn't know a splashdown time, like the precise time. And I work at a science center, so I work with a bunch of nerds. And one of my coworkers brought a tablet, and we were just watching it, and we played some very light games because we had to be able to be interrupted to watch the splashdown.
Paint the full picture. What games were you playing?
We played Hues and Cues.
Great, that's a great one. Hues and Cues.
It's super fun. You basically have a color and you try to give it a name, and people have to guess what that color is.
Mm-hmm. Classic.
So we were playing that, and then we played Anomia.
Anomia. I think I do know that one. I think I might confuse it with another one though. Describe it to me.
It's a deck of cards with a category and a symbol on it, and so you flip your symbol, and it'll be like Canadian cities, and then it has a little
red that's what
dot.
I'm thinking of.
Yeah. And so then if I see somebody else who has a category with a red dot, I then have to name something in that category because I've got my red dot in front of me. So if let's say your category was game consoles, I'd have to shout out Xbox, and then
right, because your symbols match, so you have to. Yeah, that's a really fun one, and I'm very bad at it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, everyone here was surprised by that as well. But anyway, this is not board game show, but but I love that game.
Okay, well it was during the actual splashdown, Hues and Cues. We were just getting ready. We're watching the stream, and yeah, we just started talking about our experience with Artemis 2 and how we had seen the launch, different broadcasts, different moments, the wake up music that they'd been having. We had a chance just to talk through what it meant to us. It was a really beautiful moment. We had a coworker who got to ask them a question, which was amazing. Yeah, it was so cool. I feel like this whole event has been a balm for humanity.
Yeah.
It's this beautiful example of what we can do when we look towards when we work towards great things together. And so I'm very excited about it. And I want to talk through the last week and hear a little bit from you, Bobby. I know you've been distracted by building a deck.
Yeah.
But you know, there's definitely been some Artemis content coming through. And let's start with the launch.
Yeah.
I was on the edge of my seat, literally, because I was in the planetarium, sitting with a bunch of other people watching this happen, and I was giddy, so just like nervous too about it not going, because during the launch they had the L clock going, and then at one point they switched to the T clock, and then it just stayed at like 10 minutes because that's how long the countdown is for like a while. And I'm here with my kiddo, a 5-year-old and a 9-year-old, and the 5-year-old is like, when are they gonna go? When are they launching the rocket?
That's funny.
And so I am there with my spreadsheet that has the countdown clock on it.
Right.
I was like, this is what's happening right now. This is what's happening right now. This is what's happening right now. And then there was like nothing, right? I'm like, okay, well, I can hear they're doing all these checks. I can see. I'm trying to see like where they are in the countdown, and it's not super clear because they're off. There's sort of a gap. It was a planned gap, right? So yeah, I'm just like in the row with my kids, my nephew, my brother. I'm like, look this. Oh my god, look at this. This is what's happening. This is what's happening. And
yeah, we were doing sort of the same thing. I was watching it with Kaylee, and Zoe eventually came in and saw it right before it actually launched. But yeah, there was a lot of we were listening to a lot of them talking and checking in with each other. There's the I forgot what the title of the role of the person is, but the person who's in charge.
The flight director, the launch director.
Yeah, the director. Yeah. And so they're checking in with everybody, right? And I was telling Kaylee, well, that's really important. They have to check in with each and every I was telling her every little system, every little thing, every tiny thing has a person who's in charge of it and that's their only job, is to make sure that this is working. And so before they can continue with this countdown, the person in charge has to check in with each individual person, and everyone has to tell them everything's good. We're good. And if everybody tells them, because we're wondering, is the countdown going to continue? I was telling her if all of them that they're checking in with, if all of them say that they're a go, then it'll keep going. And so like we were kind of at the edge of our seats too, like, okay, it's a go.
Yeah, and it felt like they checked in with multiple people multiple times too, which all part of it. But there was one moment when the flight director, her first name is Charlie, and I can't remember her last name, but she did all those checks. Are we go? And then she checks in with the crew, which is the last one. And then they all checked in back with her with a really meaningful message from each of them. And I've sent you a few audio clips, and I would love to play this one. This is the audio of the launch right before the T clock started going. It was like a minute or two before it actually started counting down.
Yeah. All right. Let's see if I can play that for us. It's on the thingamajig. Here we go.
And Integrity Launch Director.
Good airways, Charlie. PLT.
Thank you, Charlie. This is Victor. We are going for our families.
MS1.
This is Christina. We are going for our teammates.
MS2. This is Jeremy. We are going for all humanity. All right, Charlie, your Artemis 2 crew is go for launch. Full send.
I copy that. Read, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy. On this historic mission, you take with you the heart of this Artemis team, the daring spirit of the American people and our partners across the globe, and the hopes and dreams of a new generation. Good luck. Godspeed, Artemis 2. Let's go.
Yeah.
It was such an incredible moment. And then it was a little bit right after that, there was sort of a pause. It took another minute for it to start, and I was like, oh god, I wanted it to, like, in the movie of this, the count is gonna start right there, right?
Yeah.
But I just loved that each crew member had a different thing going for our families, for our teammates, and for all humanity.
Yeah.
I was like, that's just, it was so cool. And of course it was perfect. The launch went really well. They launched just after the launch window opened.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. Not surprised, but I was like, they have a whole window of, what was it, 2 hours? And in that 2 hours, they're able to launch. But if they go past that, then they have to try again another time. But they didn't have to use that whole window. They were like, it was like all right on time. Everything went well.
Yeah. It was so great, and just watching that launch, after we did the episode about the launch, I was so pumped about how it was all going to go down, and watching every step, check the box, check the box, check the box.
Yeah.
And they had a system where they can just snatch the astronauts out if there's a problem. They had like an arm that would just like grab them and pull them out if they needed to.
And they have on the
And-
top of the shuttle, they have that I forget what it's called. But it's like a rocket. You know, when you're looking at the shuttle at the very top where they're at the very tip of it, and then there's that little thin tube sticking out the top. That's like the emergency escape rocket or something like that.
Yeah,
And Kaylee was
crazy.
asking about that. I said, well, Kaylee, the module that they're inside, everything else below that, all the big tubes and giant things, all of that is very explosive, flammable fuel. And so if anything goes wrong, and that could explode and be very catastrophic. So that thing at the tip is just a little tiny rocket that's designed to pull them away from it as fast as they can.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's really cool. Yeah.
It's crazy. They had an escape plan if needed, to avoid tragedy, but no need. Everything went so smoothly after everything got checked out and sorted. And so just my heart was soaring. I was thrilled to see that happen, and so glad to be there with my family watching it. You know, also in the moment glad that I didn't have to find a way to entertain a 5-year-old who's waiting for a rocket launch or one that got canceled. So, you know, great all round.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I texted you too. I was like, I think I'm more excited about this launch than actually visiting the moon. However, then we visited the moon.
Easy to say when you're watching an exciting launch, right?
Yeah, I was like, this launch is amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have an annual tradition on Easter Monday. My kids they have childcare. Work I don't have work. I have the day off, and so it's kind of the one day a year that nobody's gonna email me about work, and my children are taken care of, and I can just have a day to myself. I call it Mora Christmas. So it's not a very creative name, but you get it. I'm tired. I don't have time for creativity. So
that's the point of Mora Christmas.
Yeah, that's the point of Mora Christmas. So I just do whatever I want on that day. Usually there's a book of some type involved. Probably play some video games. Go for a walk. Like nothing groundbreaking, but just like I eat whatever I want for lunch, not the leftovers of what you had for lunch, etc. So it's more Christmas.
More Christmas. I love it. Okay.
This year, the flyby was broadcasting on More Christmas.
Yeah.
And like early in the day too. So I had like done everything I needed to do. I visited a charming coffee shop, and I got like at this coffee shop they had like a paper copy of a crossword. I did a paper crossword puzzle.
On real paper?
On real paper,
wow.
Using a pencil crayon. It was great. And and then I buzzed home and I watched the flyby while playing Slay the Spire 2. So this is a really good day.
This is a great day. Oh my gosh.
It was amazing. So I started. I think I watched the first 2.5 hours or so. Kind of, it was not fast paced, so pretty easy to flip between the game. And I remember at one point, out of all of the crew members, I felt like I didn't really know anything about Reed Wiseman.
Yeah, okay.
But he's the commander, and so he's kind of like the main person going back and forth with mission control. And he's a very big personality. Like he's a very charismatic guy. He's like, at one point, he's like, Mission Control, you're keeping us from a view from the moon. Like you had this sort of like kind of like tongue in cheek, like, oh, stop talking. We need to see the moon.
Yeah. We have got very important things to do right now.
Yeah.
Look out the window.
Yes, I need to look out the window. I mean, honestly though, that was like most of their job for this flyby is to look out the window. They have been trained by a bunch
they may have had important things to do, but looking out the window needs to be one of them if you're flying past the moon. Holy cow.
I mean, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What they did was they had 2 astronauts at the window making observations, and the other 2 were communicating with ground control. They were maybe like, so let's say Jeremy's there, he's got the camera, he's click, 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 and he's talking about what he's seeing. They're like writing stuff down and helping with observations and talking back to mission control, because there's limited space, however many windows they can actually see the moon from. And so they've been trained by geologists, by a whole bunch of scientists from many different disciplines to look for specific things on the moon. Because the big thing about this flyby, a couple things. First, they passed the record for the furthest anyone had ever gone from Earth.
Yeah.
The original record was 171 kilometers away from Earth by Apollo 13, and Artemis 2 got to 406,771 kilometers from the Earth. And that was just amazing. That was when I started crying. Not the last time.
Oh yeah.
And Reed Wiseman, the audio from that moment is really amazing. So that's the second link I sent you, Bobby.
Oh yeah. Here we go. Let's listen to that. And I'm excited to listen to this because I didn't get to see the flyby. I was stuck in an airport, but that's another story for another day. Here we go.
It was Bobby Christmas.
Not exactly. All right, here. Make sure it's playing. Oh, I know what's happening. I know what's happening. Hold on.
You like my song? Yeah. I'm talking to Bobby. He's talking to me, yeah. I can hear him on the headphones. Did you have a good nap? Oh, you look rested. That's a good feeling, hey? It's so cozy. I know, it looks so comfy over there.
Pooh.
Oh, here we go.
I'll let you start it again.
All right. Let me. So you do me a hey. Let's do that. Let's give me a lead into
Lead
this.
you in?
Yeah.
You bet. So let's listen to that moment when they passed the original distance record.
All right. Here we go.
On April 15th, 1970, during the Apollo 13 mission, 3 explorers set the record for the farthest distance humans have ever traveled from our home planet. At that time, over 55 years ago, Lovell, Swigert, and Hayes flew 248,655 statute miles away from Earth. Today, for all humanity, you're pushing beyond that frontier. Integrity, over to you.
From the cabin of Integrity here, as we surpass the furthest distance humans have ever traveled from planet Earth, we do so in honoring the extraordinary efforts and feats of our predecessors in human space exploration. We will continue our journey even further into space before Mother Earth succeeds in pulling us back to everything that we hold dear. But we most importantly choose this moment to challenge this generation and the next to make sure this record is not long-lived.
I thought that was such a great way to put it, that this record is not long-lived. And I kept thinking about the fact that they list those 3 astronauts who went the furthest, and who knows those names? Not
Right.
many of us do.
Yeah. You're right.
Not many of us do. And these 4 astronauts are those ones, because the next it's 2 missions from now, they're going to be walking on the moon. They're going to be living on the moon. Those are the people whose names will be on our lips. But these, as exciting as this is one step, one of the many steps on this journey. And so I just love, I feel like that humility kept coming back around. Everybody involved in this was always going back to the fact that I am one of many. I am part of a team. I am here with the team. Like it just is. It was really amazing to see that.
I can't imagine how you don't feel that way if you're part of this whole thing, right? Like
you
there's
can't,
so many people involved. Yeah.
If you're an expert on fueling a rocket, good job for you on that task. But you need the rocket. You need the fuel. You need so many things to be able to operate your expertise. And so it's crazy too. At one point, one of the astronauts said something about how they trusted the construction of the vessel, and they felt like, this is fine. This vessel is sound, and it's going to work. And it's already been tested. Like, they were so confident. And I do want to highlight something that confused me at first. You heard them say integrity. The capsule they're in is an Orion capsule. Like, that's the kind of capsule that it is. They named it integrity.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the distinction there. Some people, not some people, but I was like, why do they keep calling it?
Yeah, there's a lot of different names: Artemis, Orion, Integrity. But Artemis is the name of the whole mission. And they named the Orion capsule Integrity.
Yes, indeed.
It's like naming your Subaru, something.
Johnny.
Yeah.
Johnny Subaru. Right? That's a good name. So during quarantine, ahead of the launch, Jeremy, Christina, and Victor, my close personal friends, approached Reed to let him know that they wanted to make a request about naming one of the craters. The craters that they named on the moon, there was a couple that they wanted to name, were new. In other words, they had been created since we had gone to the moon. Some kind of impact happened, and these new craters now exist. So they went to him and they said they would like to ask to name one of the craters after his late wife, Carol. And he was pro, loved that idea. But he said he didn't think he'd be able to give the speech. And so Jeremy Hansen offered to give the speech and make the request. And now this is the part where I really started crying, Bobby. It's a beautiful moment. Let's listen to them making that request to name these 2 craters.
And we have a couple more.
Yeah, here we go.
Go ahead. You can just cut me off.
We'd like to take this moment for our science team helped us out with a couple of relatively fresh craters on the moon that have not been previously named, and our crew would like to propose a couple of potential names for those items or those areas. And we spent a bit of time this morning looking out the window, and we're able to see them now both with our naked eye and through the long lens. And so we feel this is a good time to send this down, and a special shout out to Kelsey for helping us with this. The first one we'd like to suggest is a named crater in honor of our great spacecraft integrity. And so if you were to look at Oriental on the far side and then draw a line straight up to Ohm on the far side, relatively in the middle is an unnamed crater, and we would like to suggest it be called Integrity in the future. And the second one, and especially meaningful for this crew, is a number of years ago we started this journey in our close-knit astronaut family, and we lost a loved one. And there's a feature in a really neat place on the moon, and it is on the near side, far side boundary. In fact, it's just on the near side of that boundary. And so at certain times of the moon's transit around Earth, we will be able to see this from Earth. And so we lost a loved one. Her name was Carol, the spouse of Reed, the mother of Katie and Ellie. And if you want to find this one, you look at Glushko, and it's just to the northwest of that, at the same latitude as Ohm, and it's a bright spot on the moon. And we would like to call it Carol, and you spell that Carroll.
Just keep it going, Bobby. At this moment on the video, they're all crying and wiping tears and hugging, and then mission control responds back.
Integrity and Carroll Crater. Loud and clear. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's the part where I really started crying.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's I didn't actually listen to that, but I saw you guys talking about it on the Discord when it was happening, I think, or soon after when it was happening. People were talking about it, and I was interested, and I just haven't had time. I was choking up.
It's so beautiful, and
right. I think the context that might give it some more weight if people aren't aware is that this group of people, these 4 astronauts, and everybody really, the whole team, that they work with everybody, right? They're all working together, people on the ground and the 4 astronauts and everything. They've been training together for like a decade. So they're all very close. And they know each other's families, they know each other's children's, they
and she died in 2020. So like they went through the grieving process together with him. It's just such an incredible moment. And I found a quote from Christina Cook saying, we're close like brothers and sisters. And that's a privilege we'll never have again. I don't think there's anything I won't miss, because this whole thing is a package. Like somebody had asked her, what are you going to miss about it? She said literally everything, but that camaraderie, that like brothers and sisters feeling is one of the most important ones. And you see them, like all of them are wiping tears out of their eyes. And then somebody on our Discord asked, what happens when you cry in space? Because tears can't fall, right?
Yeah.
They can't, you don't think about it, but the reason they go down your cheeks is because
gravity.
Gravity, yeah. And thankfully the very excellent Chris Hadfield has answered that question with a video. He takes some water and sort of sprays it onto his eyes, like sort of collects it where tears would collect, and it just sort of sits there.
Yeah.
It doesn't go. It just sort of stays. So he's like, yeah, you just gotta kind of wipe it out.
Yeah.
So yes, I was able to answer with that. And later on too, people asked about this moment, and Reed Wiseman said that was the moment when the four of them were most bonded. They had that experience. So it's so beautiful. The other thing I noted about the flyby, and I didn't watch the whole thing, but any part where I watched a science expert come on to talk either with them or talk with the host, they were giddy.
Yeah.
And somebody, the host actually said that at one point. The feeling in here can only be described as giddy. Like again, a decade of work. This is the pinnacle, possibly, of your entire career, or at least like one of, if you're going to be working on multiple of these. It's enormous to be able to have this data come back, this experience come back. Every little thing that the astronaut said was just met with amazing enthusiasm and gratitude. So the control was like, oh, thank you so much for telling us that. That's a great description. Like they mentioned at one point, the Earth was extraordinarily bright in comparison with the moon. They were like asking about camera realignment. They were talking about this rock or that crater, and they're just like, thank you for saying that. Is there anything else you can tell us? And so, most of the data that they collected is going to be processed when they return. They sent us a bunch of really cool pictures, including the Earth set picture. Did you see that one?
Yes, I did see that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the moon, sort of dimmer in the foreground, and then in the background you see Earth setting down the horizon of the moon. Just amazing. They also got to see an eclipse from the dark side of the moon. Essentially, the sun passed between the moon passed between them and the sun. And they were some of the first. I told you there was two main things, big milestones that happened. One was the distance. The other was they've seen now parts of the moon that no one else has ever seen before.
Yeah.
This is not with their eyes anyway.
Right. The Earth set picture that they took is it's like it's I don't know if I want to say a reference to, but sort of like a bookend to. And bookend's the wrong word too, because it makes it sound like this is the end of a thing. But there was the famous Earthrise picture that was taken back in I think the late '60s with one of the Apollo missions. I don't know if it was Apollo. I don't know which Apollo mission it was.
Yeah.
It was a really famous photo that was taken because it was basically the first picture that was taken of the Earth. As they passed around the other side of the moon, and it got a lot of people excited, and that got to see it.
It was incredible
back on Earth. Those were the first times the Earth had been seen from that distance and that perspective and all that kind of stuff. So this Earth,
in that clarity.
Yeah. And so this one was really, really great because it echoed and was very similar to that picture, but with all of the advances in image taking technology that we've had in 50 years, like much more detailed, much more but I thought that was really interesting seeing those photos side by side, because it really highlighted to me how long it's been since we've been to the moon, because you could see in the pictures that clearly this one was taken 50 years ago and this one was taken today, more than 50 years ago. But
yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely incredible. And we're gonna see 1,000 more images. The data they collected is gonna be, for decades. It's gonna be important.
Yeah.
Plenty of things that geologists and astronomers and everything in between are gonna be asking a lot of questions about that.
Yeah.
And I do want to talk a little more about the data they collected, but let's skip ahead to the end, the splashdown.
Yeah. This episode we're focusing on the journey that they went on. I think the next episode will be more about the details of what they did and why they were there and how they got there and all of that kind of all the
Yeah. I mean, we're all so excited because at the time of this recording, yesterday was the splashdown.
Yeah.
And like I said, I was with my coworkers at a board game cafe being too loud. How did you watch it, Bobby?
It was perfectly timed. We had just finished day 5 of deck building.
That's right, 7 p.m. quitting time.
Yeah, and so we had just finished, and we knew that it was supposed to happen that evening, but we kind of, had forgotten. And we had said, oh, we should watch that. We want to watch that. Yeah. We finished eating dinner, and then and honestly, thank goodness to our Discord and all the talk that's been going on the everybody go to allaroundscience.com, join the Discord. There's lots of things happening. But everybody been talking about this, and that's what reminded me. We had just finished dinner, and I think you posted in there like, oh, it's about to happen. It's coming. I was like, oh yeah, we wanted to watch that. Perfect timing. We're done. So we threw it onto the TV. Kaylee was out in the front yard doing something. I yelled at her to come back in, and we turned it on, and we all sat there, in-laws, me, Kaylee, and Zoe. We all sat there literally on the edge of our seats, waiting for this to happen. And it was Kaylee was very excited. Everybody was very excited. It was really, really cool. I know that it was cool. I mean, what else can I say?
Truly, oh my gosh, so it was so incredible. I kept thinking this past week, if I was an astronaut and I was going on this Artemis mission, would I be more nervous during takeoff or splashdown?
That's a tough call.
And it was funny because the reason I thought about this, I hadn't really been thinking about it, but after the flyby, they did a couple of press conferences. At one point, Victor Glover said, I have been thinking about splashdown since the day I was chosen for this mission.
Really? Wow.
And I was like, you know what, Victor? Fair.
Yeah.
That is fair. Because it's an intense process. So we talked about the launch. We know some of the risks and some of the contingencies they had to manage those risks. Let's talk about splashdown.
He had to pilot it, right?
Here. Well, he would have some piloting at some point. However, a lot of it was automated.
Yeah. I don't want to get into too much details about that because we're going to talk about it next week. But yeah, one of my favorite parts about this whole thing is how much this mission was basically just them coasting.
Truly, that's the thing. Like as the pilot, that's his role. He has control of the ship, and it makes sure it goes where it needs to go. But his level of control is not high because, like you said, it's just coasting.
Yeah.
So to splash down, you have to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere at the right time, in the right place, and the right angle.
Yeah.
Those are all extraordinarily important.
Yeah.
You also need a vessel that can withstand temperatures up to 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit, 2760 Celsius, and you need to slow down from 24,000 miles per hour to 19 miles per hour. Yeah.
Yeah. And
just a 1,000-fold decrease in speed.
Yeah, holy cow. Yeah. And you're not just pushing on the brakes, like you have to aim at the right spot so that the Earth will properly slow you down.
Exactly. The Earth is slowing you down. That's the crazy part about this. That's the first break is the Earth. And so, okay, I went through the order of operations of the splashdown. We're not going to get into the deep technical pieces of this, but just to give you a sense of what this is like. The first thing, a few hours ahead, they have to stow their overhead baggage because things are going to get bumpy. So they have to put everything away.
You have to put up your tray table and
yes, exactly. If your pencil is floating around, like you're gonna somebody's suit's getting punctured. It's insane the forces that they're up against here.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, by this point, things are now computer controlled. The trajectory, even if he had trained, if Victor Glover had trained to do this, the odds of making a slight error that will completely create a catastrophic result is not worth it. So it's computer controlled. They do the very last of the major course corrections about 5 hours before.
Mm-hmm.
Then they eat lunch. I don't know how long it stays in their stomachs, but they do eat lunch at some point here, because it's now 4-ish hours before they're going down. So they're not going to eat for a while because it takes a while to get them out too. So they eat lunch, they get in their suits, and then they are waiting, just watching the Earth come closer and closer and closer. They've got their chairs, like retractable kind of chairs that they were sitting in for launch, are in there. They get themselves positioned. They get in close to the Earth, and then they ditch the service module.
Yeah.
Now the service module, that is what has been keeping them alive the last while. It's got water, it's got air, it's got the solar panels. That particular piece of equipment made by the European Space Agency.
Doesn't it also have extra space for them to be in?
You know what? I actually don't know. That's a really good question. That seems likely, right? Like, because for launch and re-entry, you only need space for the 4 of you.
Yeah. Because we were watching it happen, and Kaylee was asking how big it was, basically, and I looked around and I said that area that they're in, the inside of that is no bigger than this living room. Mm-hmm. And that, all 4 of them were in there for quite a long time.
Oh my gosh, it is, and we'll talk about it more next week. Yeah. It is the volume of 2 SUVs.
Oh yeah, that's even smaller than I said.
Yeah, it's so small. It's banana small. But anyway, the crew module separation is happening. I'll give you the time: 7:33 Eastern. Splashdown is 8:07 Eastern. So this is like right before they enter the atmosphere. It happens so fast, so fast. And then as soon as they lose that, now they need to reposition because the service module loss is going to affect the movement of Orion. And so they have what they call the raise burn.
Mm-hmm. So
this is kind of the last burn to make sure that they're positioned at the right angle.
Right.
And then they're coasting for a little while, and then 7:53 they begin to enter.
Yeah.
That is the moment when we saw, I don't know if you remember this part, the cameras on the outside of Orion, or pointing towards the outside, you started to see sort of like a hot
orange haze.
Yeah. And then nothing.
Yeah.
So that haze is the plasma. This very hot, this very energetic interaction between the crew module and the atmosphere has so much energy that it turns the gas into plasma.
Yeah, because the capsule, the crew module, it hits the gas in front of them so hard, so fast that it compresses all the gas so tight that it gets so hot that it because it's being compressed so tight that it turns into a plasma.
And at this point, throughout this process, the astronauts will experience up to 3.9 Gs of force.
Wow. Yeah.
So
that's 3.9 times the gravitational force you're experiencing right now while you're listening to this. Unless, of course, you're in a shuttle entering the
or
atmosphere.
A roller coaster.
Or a roller coaster while you're listening to this.
Yeah. Flying a fighter jet. This is, and fighter jets will get much higher than that.
Sure.
but that's not to say that this is a very large amount of gravitational energy.
Mm-hmm.
Multiplication of gravitational energy. I said that weird. So as you go in, you're getting that, you're feeling that force on your body. There's a 6-minute radio blackout as the plasma builds around you, because it interferes with the electromagnetic frequency.
Plasma is highly electrically charged, so
yes,
messes with.
It basically is when the electrons and protons and neutrons just sort of like they're just hanging out next to each other. They're not really
right
like connected in the same way.
Yeah.
As they typically are in a gas. They're not like their own little discrete atoms. They're sort of just like a soup.
Yeah, the gas in the atmosphere is no longer a gas. It's a different phase of matter called a plasma, and it interacts with things differently. So, yeah.
So, yeah, that's the cause of the blackout. Expected, but a crazy 6 minutes. Because now you have 6 minutes of being like, did it work?
Yeah. Yeah, tense for us watching, but especially for all of those people in mission control.
Oh, my gosh. They switched at that moment from seeing that little bit of orange haze, black screen, and then they switched to like a telescopic lens of some kind, and you couldn't see anything. Like it was like nothing. Eventually you started to see a little dot, but it was still nothing. And then contact. Oh, we were all so relieved.
And did you notice like as soon as they regained contact after those 6 minutes, and again, they knew this blackout was going to happen. It has to happen. So that's not surprising. But still, so much can happen in those 6 minutes because you're smashing into the atmosphere. Plasma is all around everything. You're hoping that the heat shield on this thing holds up because you don't know until this point. And if the heat shield fails, then lots of things can go wrong. But anyway, they're sitting there in the mission control on the edge of their seat for 6 minutes, waiting, hoping. And when they come out, everyone in mission control cheered.
Yes, there was a huge cheer.
They were very excited.
And so did we in the board game cafe. Yeah. So it was, it's amazing. Everything went just as planned. The thing too about the heat shield is they had a problem with it with Artemis 1. It cracked more than expected. So they actually...
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah, they had to change a little bit of the trajectory to make them descend a bit, I think, faster or in a different angle slightly, just to adjust. Like I said, I didn't look too deep into the technical pieces, but that I'm sure had people nervous because this is a new procedure to deal with that issue.
Yeah.
And they went down towards the Earth in a pretty direct line, and then actually kind of went back up a little bit.
Yeah. And
then down again. There was a planned kind of little skip.
Yeah.
In the descent.
That was the change that they made. They intended to skip off the atmosphere when normally you try not to do that. And again, we'll talk a little bit about this next week, but just the idea is, and you may have heard this before, because in the very famous Apollo 13 movie, they talk about how if they don't get the angle just right, they'll just skip like a stone off the atmosphere, like a stone on a lake or something. And it's very true, and it's because the difference between the emptiness vacuum of space and the atmosphere of Earth, which we think of as being thin, is actually very thick compared to that.
Yeah.
And so something moving really, really fast, it's like throwing a stone into the water. That's like a good analogy for the difference between going from space into the atmosphere is like going from the air into water. And so when you hit it, if you don't hit it at the right angle, you'll skip. And so they've always tried to avoid that before and hit the right angle. But yeah, because I'm reminded that is from Artemis 1, the problems that they had with the heat shield. They said, you know what, we're not going to do it the way that we were going to do it for. Let's make an adjustment, and we will intentionally skip off the atmosphere to lose some velocity.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then come back down. Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw a really good infographic that just kind of showed their trajectory, like straight down, skip, and then a more gradual descent. And when you watch the footage of it, it looked like about a minute before splashdown. It looks like they were like right above the ocean, like it was just going to splash any second. But they actually are kind of going sideways. So after the skip, parachutes deploy. There was 12 parachutes on this whole operation. The first of the parachutes, they were called drogue parachutes, which I've never heard of, but I guess they are just not as, they don't provide as much drag. They're like the first ones. They do a quick catch.
You must not have played very much Kerbal Space Program because
No, I never did. Oh, I gotta ask Scott. He played so much.
Yeah.
Didn't I tell you should play that? I feel like I recommended it to you.
You told me.
Like, you would love this.
Yeah.
I honestly found it boring because I was like, I don't really want to get an astrophysics degree.
Yeah, it's very much like that. You have to. I had to literally watch videos on how orbital mechanics works in order to play that game. In fact, we had a question in the chat. Logan asked, how much did getting your pilot's license prepare you for understanding splashdown mechanics? Very little, because it turns out that the crew module has no wings on it. So
key part.
Yeah, but I will say that Kerbal Space Program did prepare me quite a bit for understanding splashdown mechanics.
I saw a really good graph once that said how well I understood orbital mechanics during my astrophysics degree, and it's sort of like this up and down line.
Yeah.
And then it has a timeline that says got Kerbal Space Program, and it just exponentially goes up.
Yeah.
Like, games, man. Games.
Yeah, games, really, seriously. But anyway.
Truly. Okay, so drogue parachutes, and then there's a couple of those, and then they released the main.
But yeah, drogue parachutes. That's why I brought up Kerbal Space Program, because I can explain why the drogue parachutes are so important.
Go on.
So you have to slow down to, even though you're landing in the water, you can't hit the water too fast, or you will shatter your bodies and the module. Like everything will just explode, because you don't want to hit the water so hard. 19 miles an hour hitting the water is still pretty fast, and they still hit it pretty hard. So you got to slow down, and so you need, because the atmosphere is not as thick as you might think it is, you don't have a lot of time to slow down, and so you need big parachutes that can catch a lot of air to slow you down enough to get there. And so that's what the big parachutes are that they end up with. Each of those parachutes is like far bigger than the module itself, and there's 3 of them.
Yeah, they're massive.
Yeah, they're huge, and so it slows them down.
To fill up too. I was like, are they not working?
So the thing is, though, that you can't just, whenever you're ready to, whenever you get into the atmosphere, you can't just open those parachutes, or it will shred them to pieces because they're going so fast. Yeah. Or they're going so fast, even if it doesn't shred them to pieces, you'll be going so fast that everyone inside, their brains will smash to the other sides of their heads, and they'll just like shoot out the top of their skull. Like the graphic point I'm making is that it will slow you down so fast, so quick that it'd be a problem. So you have to slow down. There's an operational speed for these parachutes. You have to get down to that speed. So they have these drogue parachutes, which are just these smaller parachutes that are intended to come out and kind of get some quick, slow it down a little bit first, and then they break away from the module, and then sometimes some more come out. Like there's small ones that come out, do a little bit of, and then some more, and then the drogue parachutes come out, and there's smaller versions that are intended just to not get you down to the speed you want to be at, but slow you down enough to where you're not going to shred those final parachutes. So that's the point.
There are a lot of really important jobs in this whole thing. Mm-hmm. But imagine being the guy who packed the parachute.
He's sitting. That's the only part of this that he was watching. That person
just
was like,
he's like, they're fine, radio blackout, heat shield, okay,
whatever. But are the parachutes?
And he's like, okay, those went off fine. okay, this other my like moment of stress thinking they weren't filling fast enough. That guy probably had a heart attack. He was like, I did it wrong. They're gonna die.
Right.
They made it, by the way. If you're listening to this, and
if you didn't
know,
watch it and you're waiting, they
you waited for the what is this, the book? Because that was the movie and this is the book.
Yeah.
The audiobook. So yeah, I mean, we know how parachutes work. They float on down to Earth with a little bit of drag assist from 3 parachutes, and then splash into the ocean.
Yeah.
Here's this was a really good visual for me to understand how fast they were going. They entered the atmosphere around Hawaii, and they splashed down very close to San Diego on the coast of the United States.
Yeah.
It's like an 8-hour plane ride or something insane. Maybe not 8, like 5. So that happened in like 7 minutes. It's just so crazy how quickly they were moving. And extraction itself took a couple of hours. My coworkers and I were sitting. We're like, where are they? Why aren't they coming out? And they had a little bit of a communication issue as well. The astronauts could hear mission control, but they couldn't go the other way. So
also the beacon that was that is supposed to tell them where they are, it was they weren't at first picking it up quite very well, and they were talking about how they could see the beacon on the video, but they were letting them know we're not receiving the signal from the beacon yet. And so it took them some time to locate them.
But yeah, they, after a couple of hours, were able to get them out. We'll maybe talk a little bit more about extraction next week. But one thing that I found out, some of the press stuff beforehand, the Navy personnel who extracted them trained for 3 years.
Wow!
To do that.
Holy cow! Wow!
Isn't that crazy? Like, I'm sure they had other things. It probably wasn't the sole focus of their training, but getting all the equipment going and then training for contingencies is probably the main thing.
Yeah,
like, what if it's driving rain? What if it's major waves? What if
there's a typhoon or something?
Yeah. What if there's an electrical storm? What if, like, a million different things could happen?
Yeah.
And you can't. There's no option to leave them. Like, you got to do something. So yeah, there's a very long training period to get them out. There's health checks, and all was well. Oh, I'm so happy.
Yeah, holy cow. Yeah.
I'm so happy. What an amazing feat. What an incredible time. Yeah, I was speechless, honestly, when we saw them finally get out. And I can't wait for what's next. Like, going through all this data and talking about all the amazing things they discovered, and then Artemis 3 and 4. Oh, we get to do this again! I'm so excited.
Imagine how they feel. They get to go again.
I don't think they do. I think they
don't. They? I thought they would get to go. I thought they are the ones who go.
I don't know. Let's look it up.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure now that you say that. I think maybe I just assumed they get to go again. But they've done it all. Shouldn't they send them again?
There's a group of 18 active astronauts eligible for them. And so yeah, they're not guaranteed.
So maybe they haven't selected the crew for the next mission yet. So
yeah, it says it will be named soon. I'm seeing some headlines that say it will be named soon.
All right.
Yeah, and it's gonna be amazing. In Artemis 3, I believe they're bringing some equipment with them, getting some of that set up, but they're not. I don't know if they're actually landing until 4.
Yeah, they're not. They changed
but
that
recently changed.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, next step is Artemis 3.
Yeah.
I'm already counting down those days, but I can't wait to see, like, these 4 on whatever tours they go on and hear their interviews and reflections of the experience.
Oh yeah.
And hear more from NASA about what they learned. Why did the communications cut out? What was the story there? Yeah, there's 100 million things that we're gonna we're gonna learn from this.
Yeah. Now, we have a lot more to say about Artemis, but it's going to be next week that we talk a lot more. Like I said earlier, this episode is about kind of the journey. Next time we're going to talk about, what it was like for them living there, a lot of the things that they were doing while they were there, and some
Bobby's got a little bit of orbital mechanics because
because it's me. And so we're going to talk about that kind of stuff. So we've got lots more to talk about. So it's a little bit of a strange thing. We're recording this live, so we're going to jump right into it in a second. But I guess we're going to, for this episode, we're going to close it out. So I'm going to jump right into our outro, and then we're going to come right back in, and you'll hear it next week. That's what I'm saying.
You're making me scroll. Here we go.
All right, so that's going to be it for this episode of All Around Science. Thanks, everybody, for listening. If you've got questions or feedback, tell us how excited you were, whether you watched it or not, what your favorite parts were, all that kind of stuff. You can email us at contact@allaroundscience.com.
We're on socials at allaroundsci or allaroundscience.
My name's Bobby.
I'm Maura.
And we'll see you next week for some more science stuff.
But not you guys.
No, not at all.
You can stay right here.
We will record. We will record a little on today's episode, but let's do it at the very end because it's going to be the same for both episodes.
Yeah.
So let's just do it at the very end. In the meantime, I'm gonna pee real fast, and then
I'll take a quick break as well.
So yeah, we'll be back in just in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, as somebody says.
All right. We'll see y'all in a bit.
All right, we're back from break.
Hello.
And we'll get started on the next episode of this show.
April 20th.
We'll start it. We'll do a normal intro, and then we'll treat the rest of it. I mean, this is just a normal episode. I don't know why I'm trying to think it's more complicated than it is.
I guess we need something else for the top of the show. I don't really have anything. I do have an update. The 3D printer is not functioning yet. I guess we didn't. You said you set it up in 15 minutes. I don't think we had the technical skill.
Well, I just may have been lucky too.
Upstairs.
There might have been all kinds of things.
Fair.
That I just got lucky. And I had a 3D printer before that, so maybe there are some things that I took for granted that I knew that.
Yeah. I'll mess around with it later.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got something I can.
Awesome.
It's unrelated to Artemis, but it's
that's good.
Yeah. All right. So I'm ready when you are. Hello, chat.
All right, here we go. Hello, chat. Yo, chat. Artemis 2.1. Here we go. Hey, everyone. It's April 20th, 2026, and you're listening to All Around Science. My name's Maura Armstrong.
And I'm Bobby Frankenberger, and we are two huge fans of science here to get you caught up on what's going on in the world of science and just generally geek out about science stuff. And we are here to talk some more about Artemis 2 and all the nitty-gritty details of what happened during the whole journey that we talked about last week. But before we get started, I have something else science-related that me and my family did recently that I wanted to tell you about. Just I haven't had a chance. It's been so busy. I'm not going to go into deck building again. Talked about a bunch of that already. But I've been so busy with that and this thing that I'm going to tell you about, this trip that we went on to Minnesota. Bobby hasn't gotten a chance to tell my friend Maura about what we did. So I'm just going to do that in front of everybody here. That is, we went, I think I told everybody and you about it a little bit, that we took my daughter, Zoe, my older daughter, to Minnesota to see a reptile zoo, basically.
Amazing.
Called Snake Discovery. And so anybody who might have kids that are interested in animals or reptiles or something like that might have heard of this YouTube channel, Snake Discovery. Started by a couple, Emily and Ed. Oh my God, who's calling me? All right. It started by Emily and Ed, and they have a reptile zoo that they run, and they just made a YouTube channel also called Snake Discovery to go with it. And my kids have been watching this channel for years. Has to be at least 5 years that I know Zoe's been watching it, just following it. And I'm pretty sure it's this. She's always been interested in animals and always said she was going to be a zoologist. But now she very specifically says she wants to be a herpetologist when she she gets older. And I'm pretty sure that it was this YouTube channel that really got her interested into reptiles. I know I've said before that she loves snakes, and they do a lot of stuff with snakes on this show. And so for years and years, she's been saying, every time we ask her, what do you want to do for your birthday this year? She's like, I want to go all the way to Minnesota and I want to go to Snake Discovery. And we always kind of laugh, not in a mean way. But because we're like, oh yeah, right, haha, we're not. But she's always serious. But we're like, we can't go to Minnesota. It's like so long, such a big trip for us to take you to a place like that. Let's find somewhere nearby that has snakes or lizards or something. But we surprised her this year and said, you're turning 13. This is a big birthday. Let's do it. Let's just do it. So she was very excited. We went, and it was awesome. This place is really, really cool. The really exciting part, okay, let me tell you, they have tons of snakes and lizards. They have an alligator that they rescued. They have, we went the day before Easter, and they had this cool, this Easter event where they had kids go around to different stations and get little plastic Easter eggs. And they told all the kids, and this was, I guess, mostly designed for the little kids, but our kids had fun with it too. But they were like, oh, you can draw on or basically they were like, take these eggs and put them in. They had these plastic containers that were like supposed to be little incubators, and they were like, incubate the eggs, and then on Easter tomorrow, open the eggs and see what's inside. And they were all just little 3D printed snakes, right?
Oh.
And each of the snakes was colored in such a way because at each of the stations they also had one of their snakes there that you could pet and touch, and they were just different types of snakes, and they would tell you about the snakes and all this kind of stuff. And they told you they had these little markers, you could decorate the snakes with the patterns that were on, or decorate the eggs with the patterns that were on the snake. You know, again, like Easter, like an egg decorating thing, right? Just
That's so fun.
to make it like snake related. You know, it was cool. And then the snakes that were inside those eggs were colored and looked like the snakes that they had at the tables, and that they were teaching kids about and everything. And so they loved that. But the highlight for both of my daughters, but especially Zoe, who really wanted to go, was that they have meet and greets of the people that are on the YouTube channel at this place that they weren't going to be. We went and they on a weekend that they weren't going to be there because it just couldn't work out. This was the weekend that we could go. And so Zoe was like, that's okay. That's fine. I really just want to go to this place. I've seen a bunch of it and I just want to go. And it was really, really great. Lots of cool stuff. But we were there and we saw that at one of the stations was Emily, the person who's the main person on, and she was at one of the stations helping do this event. So they got to meet her anyway, even though we weren't planning on doing it. And that was so exciting. Zoe got her to sign one of her little plastic eggs. And Kaylee asked her some questions and stuff like that. It was really, really cool. It was such a great trip. And so learned a lot about snakes and reptiles and stuff like that. So that's my science related story about what happened. So yeah, it was a fun trip to Minnesota. Fun trip to Minnesota. So cool. Yeah.
I'm just scrolling through photos of Snake Discovery, and it looks so awesome.
Yeah, it's a really cool place. They have some like I said, they got to hold bearded dragon. You know, those are common. Lots of people, you know, have them. But they had one there. They got to hold them. It was a cool, brightly colored orange and yellow one, and they got to look and see spiders. They had an area with like spiders and stuff.
Oh, neat.
They had a tank.
Turtles.
Yeah, there were just turtles in this tank. You could just reach over and pet them, and that was really cool. They had this one tank with what are those animals that have the gills on the outside of their body?
Axolotls?
Axolotl, yeah.
Cool.
They had a tank with axolotls in them, but what was really cool about it is that it was some axolotls that have the adaptation where they have UV reflective skin, right? And so they had like a little thing on there. They had a switch that you could switch that would turn UV lights on and off, so you could find the axolotl in the tank by switching on the UV light, and it would glow.
That's cool.
And that was really, really cool. And so they have a neat little thing there, and we really enjoyed it. We went all the way to Minnesota to do it, so it was good that we enjoyed it.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you finally got to take that trip.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. But we have some more Artemis to talk about.
We sure do. Yeah. We sure do. What an interesting, incredible moment to be talking about space exploration and space science. So let's get right into it.
All right. Let's check in with the chat real fast. Hey, y'all. Yeah. Apparently Chuck's battery on the Steam Deck gave out, so they were not able to. I didn't know I guess Chuck watches us on the Steam Deck. That's interesting.
How advanced?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, Logan says how advanced. Yeah. You can play video games and watch it on the same device. Logan's moving to Minnesota. That's right. Logan got accepted to a graduate program in Minnesota.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Good for you, Logan.
Yeah, it's in St. Paul. So if you're gonna, I think you might, if you're gonna be in the Minneapolis St. Paul area, then Genevieve would love to go to. It's perfect. It's really just a perfect place to take kids. So yeah, Snake Discovery. Check it out.
My husband frequently goes to Minneapolis for gaming things.
Oh yeah.
Maine, some of the folks that he games with, and some of the companies that sell the games he plays are set up there. So.
Oh, that's cool.
He's been
has he
there
ever
many
been to
times, like
Mall
7
of
or 8
America?
times. I don't know. I have to ask him.
Because I've never been there, and we went to Mall of America while we were there, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So Barry, I'm confused. A wine tasting just dropped in email. I imagine this wine tasting is a description of when you can taste some wine, or is it a description
Yeah,
of
unless we
wine that
missed a
has
news
been
item that
tasted?
we should have covered on the show. I don't believe you can taste your emails.
I've never heard of that, but anything's possible. So do explain.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. Are you going to one later? Or
Yeah.
right in. Oh, hey, have I told you about my triathlon training?
I feel like it sounds familiar, but I feel like that's a big deal. No, tell me.
Yeah, I picked my race end of June, and I've been sort of gradually building up, but now like in the next week or two, I'm gonna do the more significant, like the actual focus training. So
Yeah. Did I tell you that I abandoned my marathon training?
You did not.
No, I must have had so much more free time the first time around, because I massively underestimated how much of an impact it was going to, and I've done it before, so I know
It's a dramatically intense.
Yeah.
My try is gonna be very, it's like a short one.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent of like a half marathon, so it's
Sure.
not nearly as bad, but yeah, it takes a lot of time. Just a long run alone is like 2-3 hours, right?
Yeah. Oh no, I mean, once I got to the end, the long runs were taking 4 hours.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I just don't have the time for it, which is a bummer. But I had to be realistic.
Fair. Totally fair.
I might once a lot of the busyness of this part of the year dies down, I might get back up to half marathon status again, just do some more of those. But
yeah, get in there.
Yeah.
It's an arbitrary distance no matter what you do. So
Yeah, I love it. You know what? That's a really good point. And if I allow myself the grace to just run as long as I can, then maybe I can get back into running.
Why not?
So
yeah,
that's
do 10K.
Yeah, going easy on
What do they call it in the
myself
States?
psychologically is a theme that I've been going through lately. So yeah.
Yeah, I think hustle is generally overrated. It's not unimportant, but it's generally overrated.
I'm learning that.
Mm.
All right, you ready to get going?
Let's do it. Why don't we do orbital mechanics first?
Yeah, sure.
If you don't mind, and then
Yeah, I'll start us off, and then we'll.
It kind of fits with the
Yeah.
chronology anyway.
There's other parts too. There's a little bit I added for on the way back at the end, but I can talk about the whole thing actually, because there's not really a chronology that
we're kind of hopping. We're hopping through.
All right, here we go. More, as I mentioned already, we talked a lot about Artemis last week, and it was focused on the journey that they went on. But now I want to talk about I want to dig in. I want to talk about the nitty gritty about
it's time for some physics, everybody.
Yeah. So what I was really interested in, and this will surprise nobody who's a fan of the show or a friend of mine, what I was really, really interested in was the real physics about how a launch happens, and in particular how something that fascinates me about every rocket launch that goes into space is like when we sent Perseverance to Mars, you essentially have to aim from Earth. You have to aim a rocket at Mars or wherever you're going, you have to aim it
Mhm.
and shoot it and hope you make it. And that target is very small.
It really is.
Yeah. It's very small and very I mean, I guess the target's large, but it's very far away, right?
Relatively speaking, it's
Yeah.
pretty tiny.
Right. So the math involved, and you know how much I love math. The math involved is massive, and is incredible, and in particular, the math for here, for going to the moon is also very, very impressive because, as I mentioned last week, the majority, almost the entire mission. This was what, a 9-day mission,
Mhm.
9 and some change. Almost the entire mission, they were not. I think we often have this idea that they're just like if you're driving a car somewhere, you're going to be foot on the gas and hands on the wheel, directing.
You're an active participant.
Yeah, you're directing where this vehicle is going to be going the whole time.
Mhm.
Not so with this Artemis. Not so with this mission. There's
Mhm.
definitely a lot of engines and rockets involved, but pretty much only for the first day.
Mm.
The
Yep.
rest of it, they're coasting the whole way, so they got to get everything right because, well, let me explain. So at the beginning, what they do, they're at the start, they launch the rocket, of course. But when you launch a rocket into space, I think sometimes people think that what you're doing is you launch up into space and then somehow you're magically in orbit, but it's not. That's not how it works, right?
Those people haven't played Kerbal Space Program.
I can guarantee you they haven't, or they quit after their first attempt.
That was me. I quit after
there
my
you go.
first
Right.
attempt.
Because you launched the rocket straight up and then it just came right back down, and you were like, "This is too hard," because that's what happens, and it almost. You can launch a rocket straight up and you can go for thousands of kilometers straight up, but you're just gonna come straight down. You're gonna come back down and hit the earth because that's how it works. You throw something up in the air and gravity pulls it back down, and gravity pulls on things. Earth's gravity pulls on things from very far away.
Yeah.
Like tens of hundreds of whatever tons of thousands of kilometers away. It's pulling things back down, and so when you launch things up, also gravity's pulling on it the entire way, which is why the engines have to burn for so long. So that's not how it works. You don't just shoot something up and then it ends up in orbit. You have to fire rockets in such a way, and we've explained it before on the show, but essentially what's happening is you have to get the rocket out into space, and then you get up, and then you start firing. This is if you want to go into orbit, by the way. I'll explain how it's different, what they were doing in a minute. But you launch it up, and then you kind of fire the rockets almost horizontally to the Earth, so that, and it's a funny way to describe it, but it's true. You want to launch it in such a way that when the rocket does fall back down to Earth, it misses the Earth every time. So it falls back down and then misses the Earth and then falls past the Earth and then goes around the other side and then tries to fall back onto the other side of the Earth and then misses again. And that's what an orbit basically is it's missing the Earth over and over again, right? So how is what they did? They essentially do the same thing here, and you shoot the rocket up into the air, and then eventually, just like any ballistic path, anything you throw up into the air, it's going to have a peak that it hits, and then it's going to fall back down. And so it's the same thing when the Orion module or Integrity or the whole thing launches up into the sky. Their first launch, they launched the rocket up to a 2,300 kilometer apogee. Apogee is the fancy word for the top of your launch, where you get to the highest you're going to be, the farthest, and then you're going to fall back down. That's called apogee, right?
Okay.
So that first one was 2,300 kilometers away. But here's the thing: if
All
they
right.
and that's very far.
Yes.
If they had just done that, they still would have fallen back down and hit the Earth's atmosphere, and then the Earth's atmosphere would have dragged them back into the Earth, right? So what they have to do is they have to do that adjustment to make it so that they're going to miss the Earth, and that is called a perigee burn. That's one of the first. So apogee is the peak, perigee is the other side. When you go to the other side of the Earth, and because the initial orbit is elliptical, it's not a circle, it's a big giant oval. All right. So the top of that oval is apogee, and then once you fall to the other side, perigee is where the other end of that oval will be. That's the other end of the orbit. So they want to, once they get close to the top of apogee, the top of that initial peak, they turn the rocket sideways, and they want to burn the engine. And when that happens, it will give them enough energy and push them forward far and fast enough that when they fall back towards the Earth, they'll miss. All right. And then they fall around the other side, and this puts them into a very highly elliptical orbit, almost where. But on the other side, the perigee, the other side, they're only 185 kilometers. Remember, I said they're 2,300 initially away.
Oh wow, yeah.
Then they fall back down pretty close and zip around the other side, only 185 kilometers away from the Earth. But what if they don't do anything? At that point, they're just going to keep doing that. They're going to zip around the Earth and then come back to roughly 2,300 kilometers away again, and then fall back down, miss the Earth to roughly 185 kilometers away again, and they're just going to keep doing that over and over again. That's not what they want, though. They want to go to the moon.
We want to go to the moon.
Right. So what they need to do is they need to, when they get to perigee, they have another burn called an apogee raise burn. It's a burn that they do to push that apogee further away. So you got to think about it. They're kind of like falling towards the Earth, going faster and faster and faster and faster. When they hit apogee, they were not, relative to the Earth, they were not going very fast, right?
Right.
So then they start to come back down, and they're going to miss the Earth, but they're going faster and faster and faster. And what they're going to do is, as they hit the bottom, as they hit perigee, that 185 kilometer bottom of that loop, they're going to fire the engines again. Because this time, guys, when we head back up to apogee, we want to go even further. All right. We want to really give ourselves a boost. And so they do that, and they have, it's called an apogee raise burn. And they're going to push their apogee to where when they fly back up away from the Earth again, they're going to be 74,000 kilometers this time. So quite far.
Yeah.
And the reason they do that is it's going to give them roughly a day of orbiting the Earth to where they can do all the things that they need to do before they leave the Earth. All right.
Okay.
That's why they didn't just go ahead and go all the way to the moon at that point. They want to make another pass around the Earth, because in that time, they're going to do what they call proximity operations. They're going to be maneuvering test. They're going to test the maneuvering capabilities of the Orion capsule and the service module together. I remember we talked about last week, the service module is where all the life support systems are, all all the things that they need to do. They're during this initial orbit around the Earth. They're opening up the solar panels. They're testing all the systems. They actually test the maneuvering capability of the module that they're in by maneuvering around they detach one of the rocket stages that were helping them get into orbit, and then they maneuvered around that.
Okay.
It's sort of like, we got it here. We might as well use it as a test object to try to maneuver around, right?
Yeah.
Because not only do they need to test to make sure the systems work, but one of the long-term goals of this mission is to be able to maneuver around and dock with things in orbit around the moon. So they need to start practicing those sorts of things, making sure that the systems that they have in place are going to work. So they did that around this detached rocket stage. did that. And all of this around the Earth. Now, why are they doing this around the Earth? Because if something goes wrong, they want to be close to the Earth when it happens.
Yes, close to home.
Yeah.
You can run home.
Right.
Get a change of pants.
Exactly. So they've done it in such a way where if it won't be much of an adjustment for them to adjust their orbit so that they'll hit the atmosphere again and be able to slow down if they need to, right? So that's why they're doing all that. So once they went in, so they're doing all. It takes a while. It takes about a day for them to go around. So to do all this stuff, and so once they're back up at their 74,000 kilometer away apogee, they fall back down again. They're doing all their testing, all their stuff. They're getting very excited about the fact that they're in space finally. And they're seeing the Earth come around, and they're looking at the moon over there in the distance going, we're going there tomorrow. And so then they whip around the Earth again, but they go back down to perigee, that 185 kilometer distance on the back end of that oval. And they're like, all right, this time around, we're headed to the moon. So how do they do that? This is the really cool thing. To me, this is really cool because it seems like it's such a simple way to do it. It's like the simplicity of how they do this. And in this explanation that I'm about to give you, you'll also understand why it's really important for them to time when they go to the moon. Is because they don't just point the rocket at the moon and say, all right, we're headed that way now. That's not what they do. What they do is they do another, essentially, they call it, and you may have heard this term, they call it the translunar injection.
Yes.
So what that means, translunar, if you break down the word, it's trans meaning transit, like between. They're going from the Earth to the moon. So the injection part of it is that they're injecting themselves into this part of this transition from the Earth to the moon, right?
Yeah.
That's a translunar injection. And they have to fire the engines to do that. And that's basic. By the way, it's basically the last time that they fire these engines. I mean, I think it is the last time they fire the engines.
Yeah, because after that, it's just like adjustments.
Yeah. So what the translunar injection is, though, is it's essentially another apogee raise burn, but they're raising the apogee. They're raising the top of that orbit far enough that it puts them to the moon.
At the moon.
Yeah. So if you could again, I encourage anyone who really wants to dig into this to really look into, like, seriously, Kerbal Space Program is amazing for this.
Yeah.
Because you get to play with these orbits and in that game, and it's such a clear illustration of playing with that orbits that when you make that burn at perigee, at that low point, the back end of that oval, I keep calling it, when you fire the rocket, you see that all it's doing is pushing the other end of the oval further away. And you just keep burning the engines until that oval reaches where you want, how far away you want to get. And if you put it at the moon, then that's where you're going. So that's what they did.
Okay.
But they had to do so much math ahead of time to figure that out.
Oh my gosh, it must have been insane.
Yeah, and that's why it's important to time when you do these launches, because all you're doing is pushing your orbit out, but you need to time it to where when you get there, the moon is going to be there. And so that's what they did, right? And like I said,
shoot where the moon is going to be, not where the moon is.
That's 100% right. That's what they have to do is time it to where the moon is going to be there when they get there. And so that's the last time that they fired the engines.
That was on day 1 or like day 2. Yeah. And
they are literally coasting the rest of the way there. Now, in the past, in the Apollo missions, that is not how it worked.
Oh, really?
In the Apollo missions, they fired again. Even the ones where they flew by, they fired again to return. Now, of course, when we land on the moon, it's going to be a totally different story because you have to land on the moon and then take off again. So there's going to be engines, rockets firing and stuff, all that. But for a flyby, even during Apollo, they flew by the moon and then they fired the engines again to come back and aim and everything. This time, they did not do that. They just planned it to where they were just going to coast past the moon and let the moon's gravity slingshot them back to the Earth, right? Like the moon will captured the rocket, pulled on it, and then pulled them back, and then whipped them back around towards the Earth. Maura, how many times do you think they checked their math on that trajectory?
I mean, it's what's crazy to me, and I'm sure 1,000 times is the answer. I know that there were so many simulations on all of these things.
Yeah.
But it's wild to think of how much help we have with that now, as opposed to Apollo when it was like a room full of people writing out these calculations. So yeah, I mean, they must have contingencies upon contingencies, and this is the kind of thing we've done many times because we've sent probes, we've sent satellites, we've sent many things to the moon and other places, and so it's not like this is all new, but boy, the stakes are different.
Yeah. And so one of the reasons that they did it this way, by the way, instead of using rockets, because you imagine it might be easier to just do it the way that Apollo did and just go around the moon and then fire the rockets to come back. One of the reasons that they did it this way was for safety. And you might be wondering, how is that safer? Because the name of the game on the Artemis missions here is all about trying to be as safe as possible. They're trying to, that's some of the major advances that they're trying to make. We've been to the moon before 50 plus years ago, but this time one of the major advances that they're trying to make are in safety and doing this safely. And why is it safer to do it this way? Well, because if something goes wrong on the way and the engines fail or something happens, then they know if you can calculate it to where you're going to coast all the way there and back anyway, then if all the engines fail, you're going to make it back no matter what. And
because if they fail near the Earth, we can figure it out. If they fail near the moon, that's it.
Exactly. So that was the whole point of that. And let me just real quick, and then we'll move on to some of the other stuff that you're going to talk about. But when they come back, we talked a little bit about re-entry and splashdown last week. But this is the part that to me is the most impressive of all, because you have to, as you mentioned last week, you have to enter the atmosphere at the right speed and the right angle. And because, okay, so if the Earth is an apple, then the atmosphere is about as thick as the skin of that apple. All right. And so if you are shooting something like the speed of a bullet at that apple, I mean, the rocket truthfully is going faster than a bullet. But I'm scaling it down for the analogy, right? If it's going that fast directly at the apple, you got to slow down. We talked about this a bunch last week. The atmosphere has to slow you down. There is not enough atmosphere to slow you down if you're going straight at the Earth. You will not slow down enough to stop. Well, I mean, you'll stop, but it won't be pretty.
Because I mentioned they came in at Hawaii and got to San Diego in like 7 minutes. So it's like, they were definitely going sideways. Yeah,
so you have to approach it sideways, and so that you'll go through enough atmosphere to slow you down enough. And again, that atmosphere is only the apple skin thickness, right? So that the margin of error for that angle of being able to go through enough of that apple skin to slow down to be able to safely stop, is that angle is I mean, saying hair thin is not giving it enough credit. It's so small, they have to get it just right. So, and they did.
So you're basically, when you do that burn, that final burn, you're actually not aiming for the moon at all. You're aiming for the Earth.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You're aiming for being yanked back towards the Earth. Yeah. and hitting at it at such a precise angle that you're going to be able to stop. There's very minor adjustments that can be made at the end, but not enough with how fast they're going for it to make a whole lot of difference. You have to get it right. So that's the part that I was really excited about talking about.
Crazy. Yeah. So crazy.
But while they were going there, they had to do a bunch of stuff. They had to the module itself had to support life for 9 days, right?
Well, and what's interesting about this particular flight is, I mean, there's a million things that are interesting, but Artemis 1 was testing out how it worked in space and pulling out some data. Artemis 2 is a real test to see how can we make this work with human beings inside.
Yeah.
Is this going to be effective if we have humans going around around the moon? And so a lot of what they did was to check different things throughout those 9 days. They checked different things to make sure they were working. The plan is for people to spend quite a lot of time out at the moon. There's maybe a lunar base.
Yeah, that's one of the end goals here is to get the logistics figured out to be able to have long-term operations at the moon.
So I kind of want to talk through, this is not an exhaustive list, but let's talk about some of the stuff that they were looking at as they went to the moon. Another thing that this whole process really revealed to me is that the astronauts truly are there to operate things.
Yes.
They're not in charge of the science. They're not in charge of the direction they go even. They have some control of the vehicle, but like you were saying, they're coasting.
Yeah.
A lot of other people have been making those calls, and they need a ton of technical and scientific knowledge to be able to do these things. But they're going back and forth with mission control this whole time and figuring out what needs to change and what they can adjust and what mission control can adjust. So let's talk about Orion. It is a small space. Overall, the space inside is the equivalent of 2 SUVs in volume. Yeah, two SUVs. And I think about that with my family of 4 sitting in an SUV. If I just had one more SUV and that was it, I'd be like, well, this
for 9 days
is insufficient for 9 days. Oh boy.
You have to eat, sleep, go to the bathroom.
They did have some designated hygiene areas. We'll talk about that more in a bit. And they had kind of like I wouldn't call it a kitchen, but like an eating area where they like warm up their food and stuff.
Yeah.
And the whole thing kind of turns into a sleeping area. They like strung out sleeping bags like hammocks. Throughout the space and
one thing to think about is it's maybe a little bit more room than you think, because the size it's basically the size of a well, I was going to say a 2-car garage, but it's even smaller than that because it's just the inside.
The 2 cars in the garage.
It's the 2 cars smashed together in the garage. But they have because they're in space in 0G or microgravity, they also have the vertical space, like the up and down space.
Yeah. You're not stuck on one part of it. You can go kind of anywhere. And I know Christina Cook slept up in the vertical space, kind of like upside down. Was the plan. You can actually see there's lots of video of testing and doing different things within Orion. So if you want to see what it actually was like, I feel like it's actually hard to fully grasp when you see what it looks like in space.
Yeah.
Because it's very hard to get a full a full picture, a full perspective. But yeah, it's very small. It's got attached to that is the service module. The service module fuels it, has a solar array, it's got water, it's got air. it is keeping them alive on that trip. And that's the part. It sort of has the solar ray sort of looks like a cross, like it's arranged in sort of an X pattern.
Yeah.
And so they have to be good friends, or at least able to get along, effective workmates. And I know that astronauts are chosen for their ability to get along with other people because it's so important.
Yeah.
But the real question that everyone wants to know is, how were they going to the bathroom?
We all
want to know.
Yeah.
Truly. They the Artemis astronauts have a sweet luxury that the Apollo missions did not. And that is a working toilet.
Yeah, right.
I will refer you to episode 186 to hear more about the sticky history of pooping in space.
Yeah.
It is very funny. It is very gross. But Artemis, they have something that was developed for the ISS, the Universal Waste Management System, designed to suction the poop and pee right out. Not exactly, but not out of you, but like out of
Does it suck it out of you?
No, it's not like a vacuum attachment. It's just
yeah, right. Thank goodness.
Yeah. They did have some trouble with the Universal Waste Management System, though.
Yeah, that was one of the first problems they had to troubleshoot, wasn't it?
It's true. Yeah. The problem was not actually with the toilet itself, but the nozzle spraying it out, I guess, froze over and clogged.
Oh,
so yeah, because they just get rid of the pee. I think on ISS they recycle it, but on this they were just spraying it out into space. So they had to pee in bags at one point. But
didn't they
thankfully,
get it fixed?
I don't think they fully got it fixed by the end, but I'm not sure. Thankfully, though, the poop situation from Apollo wasn't repeated. I don't know if you remember. There was one Apollo mission where somebody's turd came loose and was floating around inside their module, which was much smaller than Orion, by the way.
Yeah, and there's transcripts of them talking about that. Yeah.
It was declassified, and now it's out there.
Like,
whose turn is this?
I love that it was classified to begin with. Like,
I know, right? Like in the 80s, it came out. I looked at it. It was funny because the other thing I learned that time that we did that episode is that Apollo era astronauts were all kind of potty mouths.
Yeah, there was a lot of swearing.
Ooh, a lot of F-bombs being dropped. I was surprised.
Well, back then it was different. They were not as conscious of the fact that people would be, maybe like now you go up into space and you know that everyone is listening.
And we are very used to that now.
That's true.
You think about it all the time. The fact that, anything you do could be.
Yeah, could be recorded and put on the internet.
Yeah. But yes. Anyway, that was one system. Not so much testing. I guess they did a little bit of accidental testing.
Right.
But that was one system they I'm sure were very grateful for from all the ISS astronauts. There's lots of other things they were testing. One thing I found out that was really cool is for communications, they were actually using the Deep Space Network.
Oh, I've heard of the Deep Space Network.
Well, it's interesting because the Deep Space Network is actually not used very much. I shouldn't say very much. It's used a lot, but it's not used for people. It has not been used for people for a long time. And that's because we've been sending things out into space very far away, but they're just things. We've got Voyager, we've got the rovers on the moon, on Mars. The Deep Space Network has very large transmitters strategically positioned so that no matter what direction the Earth is facing, you're always going to have signal. And so they're like all over the world. And so that's how they communicated with them. And they were only able to switch over to satellite communications when they were 45 minutes from splashdown.
Oh wow.
They had to get really close. It's sort of like when when you're flying and you like don't get reception until you're like a certain distance from the Earth. Same idea. So they had the Deep Space Network, not necessarily testing it, but this was one of the first times that people have been going back and forth with that.
Oh, hold on. I think I just had like something clicked in my head, and I want to like a realization. That's because the satellite network, not the Deep Space Network, but the satellite network is close to the Earth, and it's designed to be pointed at the Earth.
Exactly.
Sending and receiving signals to the Earth. So it's not, if you're outside of that, on the other side of the satellites, it's not designed to be communicating with stuff further away from the Earth. So that's why they have to be really close before they can switch over to it. And that's why they have to. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, neat, hey? They also had to do a lot of testing of cameras and different things. Not that Artemis 1 had no cameras, but we're in a different era camera-wise than we were in Apollo. What does it look like? What do our cameras? What can they manage out in space? So they had a lot of cameras set up. One thing they did was acoustic testing. This was interesting because the sound within Orion was recorded for 24 hours. And that data, the usefulness of it is to just check to see what the environment is like on Orion. Is it super loud at times? Are certain parts of the experience uncomfortable or difficult to manage? Like, do you have to mitigate some really loud noises, ear protection, etc.? Apparently, one of the things that was too loud, the Universal Waste Management System.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I guess their toilet was really loud, so.
Yeah, the toilet team's got to work on that.
Right? Yeah, get on it. They did. We've been talking a lot about how they got there. They were able to manually control it at one point. They basically took a joystick and moved a deep spacecraft around, and it sounds like everything worked really well. They tried some testing where they deliberately handicapped it, like tried to make it so that it wasn't working properly to see what kind of handling do we get when certain parts break down. So they were able to do that as well, and that'll be extremely important when we have people on the actual moon.
Yeah, for sure.
Lined up properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another thing that's a really key danger in space is radiation.
Yeah.
When you leave the protective force of Earth's magnetic field, radiation from the sun primarily is going through that spaceship. The walls don't stop it. So we've done an episode a little bit about this as well. It's one of the main problems with deep space travel. Yeah,
and the problem here is it's not that you might. It's more significant than the people in the International Space Station, because they are still somewhat inside the magnetic field of the Earth, so they're protected by a lot of that radiation. But when you go to the moon, you're obviously leaving the magnetic field of the Earth, so you're exposed to all of that deep space radiation.
And it can be very energetic, and it's the kind of thing that will cause problems later in life more than right away. So the astronauts were all wearing radiation monitors, and ground control was really vigilant in watching for radiation flares from the sun. So solar flares can cause big problems. And one of the things that they did was test out their radiation shelter. So if there's a big flare from the sun, ground control can say, all right, you need to protect yourself from this radiation, and they get into position. And basically what they do is make a giant pillow fort.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of true, right? It's just a bunch of the bags of supplies they hide underneath them, right?
They take all the supplies and just line them up in some of the kind of the wells that are underneath their feet. They have kind of a spot where they can duck into, and they just cover up.
Yeah.
it's smart because you're using what you got, and it's something that's very difficult to mitigate. So protecting yourself is one of the best things. So they did test that Operation Pillow Fort, but they did have an opportunity to try that out at some point in the mission as well.
Yeah.
One of the really cool things that they did was there's a long tradition in lunar travel of selecting a list of wake-up songs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I guess this goes back to Apollo. So every day they had a different wake-up song that was it was selected by the astronauts and by their loved ones to wake them up in the morning.
I did
so you
not
can
know
find,
that. That's cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. On Spotify they have the actual list. You can look through, and it's pretty varied. I was listening to it a little bit while driving, and they also have something that they listened to when they were on the far side of the moon, in a place that nobody had ever been before.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing things that no one had ever seen before, rather.
Yeah.
And they got a very special message from Jim Lovell, who
Oh,
was one of the
yeah.
astronauts on Apollo 13. He recorded a message before he died last summer, and I have it. I will warn you, it's a little bit quiet and a bit difficult to understand him, but I would love to listen to it. It's very cool to hear.
All right.
Hello, Artemis 2. This is Apollo astronaut Jim Lovell. Welcome to my old neighborhood. When Frank Borman and Bill Andrews and I ordered the moon on Apollo 8, we got humanity's first up-close look at the moon and got a view of the home planet that inspired and united people around the world. I'm proud to pass that torch on to you as you swing around the moon and lay the groundwork for missions to Mars for the benefit of all. It's a historic day, and I know how busy you'll be, but don't forget to enjoy the view. So, Reed, and Victor, and Christina, and Jeremy, and all the great teams supporting you, good luck and Godspeed from all of us here on the good earth.
Very cool.
So amazing.
Yeah.
Just handing that baton, and I just love it. It's incredible.
Yeah, and for those who don't know Jim Lovell, he just to give you like pop culture context, he's the guy. He was Tom Hanks in the Apollo 13 movie.
Yeah.
Or I guess Tom Hanks was him.
Right. That's the right way to say it.
He's the one who very well decorated astronaut in NASA history, and at one point, I don't know if it's still the case, but at one point held the record of the most time in space and the most missions and all this kind of stuff. So, and he got to do this same flyby, so.
Yeah, that's really something to have that message with you on that trip is incredible.
So cool that he had the opportunity and foresight to record that message ahead of time,
Yeah, it's really something. He must have been really advanced in years.
Yeah.
At that point, so knew it was coming, and how fortunate that he knew that, he knew the names of the people who were his successors before he passed.
Yeah.
There was also some moments of levity. I don't know if you probably didn't watch this part, but all us Canadians wanted to see Prime Minister Mark Carney chat with Jeremy Hansen, because he, of course, is the first Canadian to make it to the moon.
Yes.
And there was a shot at one point of some Nutella floating around, and that got transmitted back to Earth. Good product placement for them.
Yeah, no
but
kidding.
Mark Carney was concerned that Jeremy Hansen was neglecting his Canadian roots and switching from maple syrup to Nutella. So he said, I want to make sure that you're showing your true colors and putting maple syrup on your pancakes. And they all laughed and found the packet of maple syrup and brought it out.
Yeah, because he did bring maple syrup.
He did
Yeah.
indeed. Yeah, and I was like kind of worried because it was like floating around and there's like little balls of maple syrup. I was like, oh, it's gonna make it such a mess. All your stuff's gonna get covered in maple syrup.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was really funny.
Yeah, that is funny.
But one of the other things that they are doing, or they were doing, on this mission, is filming a documentary.
Oh, of course.
Yes, there's gonna be a Nat Geo documentary. So they have these very specific times where they were meant to film observations of the moon, of themselves, of the Earth, and so we get to see it all.
Yeah,
we get the cinematic footage of it.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be incredible. Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah. We should have a viewing here somehow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. I am in. No questions asked. But you know who did have a question?
Some of our
Who else
listeners
did have a question. Yes. Yes, one at least. I'm sorry if I missed others because they didn't really end up in the questions for the show thread.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll get you to, in our tradition, read this one out. There's a question here from Jigger Dad.
Yeah. Okay. Question said, I imagine it is very clean in the capsule, but do they bring changes of clothes? How do you change? Do they just change in front of each other? I doubt the space toilet area is large enough for that. And also,
that's okay. I'll jump in from at that point, and then we can get to the other ones.
Yeah.
So the space toilet area is not very big. I don't know if they would have changed in there. Let me answer one at a time. Do they bring changes of clothes? Probably some, but actually, apparently, on the ISS, you wear your clothes for like a month and then you throw them out.
I would.
Yeah, they're gone. That's it. Because you can't launder them, so they might have just worn the same clothes for like 10 days.
Yeah, that's one of the next advances in space travel is a space laundromat.
I bet it's stank in there because like also where do your farts go? That's my other question.
Yeah.
Apparently one name for it on the internet was Artemis. Which I thought was clever.
That is
very
clever. That's good.
Yeah. Do they just change in front of each other? I think that what I've seen on ISS is that they use their like sleeping bags. They can zip themselves into it. And basically it's like a privacy sleeping bag.
Yeah.
I don't know if they did that with this, but I don't think they go to the space toilet to change.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just like theater kids who just change in front of each other and don't care.
That's what I was gonna say. Is like if you're that close and everything, you might not care.
Yeah.
They
just turn off the cameras.
We talked about last. We talked about last week how they kind of felt like siblings, brothers and sisters after a while. You know.
Yeah.
Whatever. You know.
The other thing that this really inspired, and this is why I asked listeners to share their story, is just curiosity and excitement. And even my kids, my daughter asked me a couple of questions that I was like, oh, I think this came from Artemis, from understanding, you know, as I was explaining pieces to her.
Starting to think more about stuff because of that.
Yeah. She asked me, how does air stay on the Earth? Like, if there's no air in space, why do we have air on the Earth?
Oh, right.
I was like, that is such a good question. So I explained that a little bit. You know, you got gravity hanging onto it.
Yeah. That's the answer, by the way.
Many other reasons, but gravity's the main reason.
Yeah.
And then she asked me, why do we live on the Earth and not other planets? And I was like, there's a very easy answer to this, because that's, you know, where humans evolved. But like, there's a bigger picture to tackle there. We're part of the Earth. We're from the Earth. We are the Earth. The Earth is us. Like, we're not different from it in any real meaningful way.
Right.
And so going to other planets is truly a new experience. Like,
right.
And it's hard to, you know, to say we came from the Earth and that's why we're here, because it's really hard to get off of it.
Right.
But it was tough. It became a little philosophical quickly, but I did my best to explain.
Yeah, that's a really good point, though, about how we are the Earth. You know.
Yeah, right. Like that's where we came from, and that's what when we look at the universe, it's the universe looking at itself.
Right. Yeah. It's sort of
quote
that
always,
same analogy, or that same thought, but on a smaller scale when we think about us and the Earth. Yeah.
So I want to wrap up with I got a couple of listener contributions, so thank you to Barry and Logan for that.
Thank you.
And I want to read these out. This is what Artemis meant to these two, and maybe to some of you. I know I've been fangirling over it quite a bit the last little while. But Barry said, it's a different time, but my dad saved the newspaper when Neil Armstrong landed on the moon. I kept it after he passed, as it was truly special. I was 3 at the time of the moon landing. I suggested to my daughter to both watch the Artemis 2 mission, but also save any videos on YouTube or TikTok, etc., so she could share with her potential future children.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's an incredible thing to have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people say that.
Yeah, we don't think a lot about how you might need to save that stuff either. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it might not. We think about it being easy, but even just having it quickly able to be accessed, you know. But yeah, I might do that too. Download some of the moments, you know, because you can download some videos with. There are ways.
I might go buy a newspaper.
Why not? You know. Might be the first newspaper I've ever bought as an adult, but
I did buy one a while back for a very specific reason, and I was like, where do I go?
Right.
It was like this weird moment, and it was very time sensitive. I was like, it has to be today. Like, they're going to throw them out. And there was like 4 there. She's like, I was like, do you have a paper? She's like, yes. It was crazy.
That's funny.
And these reflections come from Logan. Recently, I've been fairly preoccupied with my own terrestrial happenings lately. Fair, if you just got accepted to grad school. So I've not been following this as consistently as I typically might. So far, the new images of Earth and the moon have been the most impressive to me. Those photos consistently evoke an awe that I aspire to maintain when looking at the world. I'm excited to see more and hear from others that this mission inspires.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a perspective. If you sit and really think, it's a really it provides a lot of perspective, you know.
Yeah, it's wild to think that we did it again and plan to keep going back. So congratulations to the Artemis 2 team, every single one of them, from the person cleaning the floors to the fuel operating, the fueler. I don't know, what would that person's job be called? Fuel jockey?
Yeah. Nailed it.
That's definitely it. The engineers, the scientists and the astronauts, the directors. It's just an incredible feat, and I cannot wait to see it happen again.
Yeah, me too. And we'll be here to tell you all about the details and all the fun things going on. But more, I think that's it. What do you think?
I think that's it.
Yeah,
you're right.
We covered it. There's plenty more to talk about, and we'll talk about it when we hear about it. But for now, that's going to be it for this episode of All Around Science. Thank you, everybody, for listening. If you've got questions, feedback, more of your thoughts about how you felt and about this whole experience, you can email it to us at contact@allaroundscience.com.
We're on socials at All Around Sci or All Around Science.
My name's Bobby.
I'm Maura.
And we'll see you next week for some more science stuff.
Yeah, we will.
All right, this is the part where we record
on today's episode.
Yeah, we're gonna do that and we use the same one for both. And then I'm gonna tell you what. I got a deck to build, so
you gotta go. I know. We went long.
Out. Yeah. This is a long recording today, but very fun and worth it. Yeah. All right.
Do you want to lead us in and I'll do the description?
Sure. Yeah. I'll say in today's episode, and then I'll also say all that and more. All right.
Okay.
On today's episode,
We talk about the successful Artemis 2 mission.
all that and more. Well, all that and more. It wasn't really all that and more. Let me think of a different thing to say.
Yeah. That and more?
Yeah, let's just say that and more. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So I'm just going to say that. Here we go. That and more today on All Around Science.
Oh my gosh, a different cold open for the first time ever?
What?
Wild!
All right, I'm ending my recording.
I'm ending mine, and thank God it was still going. Jeez.
Jeez,
Just started and stopped thinking about it.
Yeah.
289.
I better hit save before my computer crashes. I'm always worried about that if I don't save something.
Oh my gosh, you just made me so worried. Saving it also right now.
Do you remember that in the days of not Google Docs?
Oh yeah.
Where
I lost a few files.
You'd spend an hour and a half writing a document, and then your computer would crash.
Ugh.
And then you would cry and cry.
Oh my gosh, it was awful. You just have to start the whole thing over again.
Yeah.
Oh, terrible. Those days long gone.
Yeah.
That did happen to me recently with a thing that for some reason I couldn't get back, and I was like, "What? What is this feeling? What?
Oh yeah.
What? This hasn't happened in so long."
It still happens to me sometimes with audio stuff.
Yeah, I can't get that back as easily, depending where it is.
Yeah.
Oh, and hi, Genevieve. Sorry, I saw that she was watching and saw Maeve. Yeah, good to see you. She giggled every time we talked about poop in space. Well, it's funny.
Poop in space.
Poop in space. Listen to episode 189, was it? 180 something. I was giggling the whole time I was researching that one.
That
It was
was
so
really
funny.
That was a fun one.
That was a fun episode. 186. Poop in space.
All right, let's.
Thanks so much for coming out, folks.
Yeah, totally. I'm checking the.
Didn't get any Europeans this time.
Good. No, just kidding. I'm gonna check. As soon as your audio pops up and I can say you're free to go, then I'm gonna run.
It's still converting
All right.
MP3. So.
Well, I have to pee really bad, so I'm gonna run and do that really fast. You know what? I'm gonna say goodbye to chat, and we're gonna.
Yeah. Don't leave me awkwardly broadcasting.
Well, and also they don't need to hear us go. Is it uploaded yet? No. Okay. We're good.
It's riveting.
Yeah.
audio.
Thanks for hanging out with us today, everybody, for this double record, and we'll see you next time we do one. Bye bye. All right. I ended.